welcome you all. And I start with this. As a society, we learn about the world and advances our well-being through science and engineering. And yesterday's day one, we heard that science and engineering, how the women scientists and their representation in this science and engineering stream is lacking. And in that matter, if you look, India is digitally transforming at a very rapid pace. But at the same time, demand for technologically competent employee base is growing. And as many as 40% of the Indians who graduate in science and technology, engineering and mathematics disciplined are women. But we heard from yesterday Professor Chandrima Saha or Professor Kiran Majumdar Shah, both pointed out that we have a more candidate who are coming out in this stream as a graduate, but ultimately you don't see them as performing there for a long time. And that is why it surprises all that neither the graduates nor the country is gaining much from that. So women constitute merely 14% of the total 280,000 scientists, engineers and technologists in research development institutions in India. This is a recent report published in Economics Time, and this is a really very less representation. So women represent a minority in the world of science at a mere 30%, and only 35% of the STEM students are women. So we have graduates, but we do not have researchers. So what can be done in that case? So we need a dedicated strategy, not only for increasing the representation of women in the talent pipeline for STEM jobs, but also ensuring that they thrive and incentivizing them to remain there in the job, or institutionalizing organizational culture that enable women to advance in this field, as said by an executive director of UN Women. So one of the strategy is also to conduct these kind of special webinar targeting both men and women. And it is within that context, Institute of Chemical Technology, along with Indian National Young Academy and Global Young Academy, we are very proud to present a day 2 of third series of international webinar titled Empowering Women in Science, Unleashing Latent Talent. I'm sure we will be able to create a very good discourse around women's participation in various fields, of course STEM, through such international discussions, understanding the various opportunities that early career women, girls can grab at right time. Right time is very important, both at national level as well as international level, and this will be a strong emphasis of today's dialogue. So we will be running a live session. Questions and answers will be taken at the end of each talk. So if you have any questions, just type your questions in the live chat box, and if you miss anything, don't worry, we will be making these recordings available post this webinar. I request everyone to avoid any personal comments, messages, and only relevant and very specific questions will be taken from the chat box. So the link for the feedback form and other relevant announcement will be available also in the chat box. So once again, I welcome today's speakers and invited guests, and the most importantly, the audiences who are watching this program from the different continents. So I welcome all. Thank you for your participation. So growing up, I had a very insatiable curiosity about the world, and my childhood had a very beautiful memories. I wanted to know how things work. More than that, I wanted to figure out, about myself. As a child, I have enjoyed my life most. I always caught butterflies, and my today daughters also doing the same thing. I caught dragonflies. I tried to make fire using those 2 stones. I tried to build own cinema theaters using those olden days film, and tried to burn paper with a glass under hot sun. And I think, I often messed up with them to figure out how and why things are working. And I didn't knew that then one day I would have a passion for women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But now One of my mission for life is to encourage more and more women to fearlessly pursue their interest in this field, and that is why today's third series of webinar we have today with us my very good friend and colleague. We work together in Indian National Young Academy, INSA, Dr. Pooja. So I feel so proud of myself, and I therefore would like to first pat on my back that I could bring Dr. Pooja here in this webinar because, I was reading her biodata. And you name any of the top premium competitive award, be it a national or international, and there is a one person who has grabbed that, and that is Dr. Pooja. So that is why I'm patting on my back. So Dr. Pooja is a senior scientist at CSIR, Central Scientific Instruments Organization, Chandigarh. She is a recipient of SERV Women Excellence Award, Young Associate, Indian Academy of Science. She's also elected as a member in INIAS this very year. Young Scientist Award by Indian Science Congress. Young Scientist Award by International Society for Energy and Environment. BRICS Young Scientist Award. Indo-US Water Advanced Research Innovation Award. A fellowship by IUSSTF, very, very prestigious fellowship. Canadian Commonwealth Fellowship, Pitcon Travel Award, American Chemical Society. She's a science communicator, and most importantly, in India, she has been conducting many programs encouraging girls and women to enter into science or STEM. So she is also coordinator for Jigyasa. So thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for accepting our invitation. And I'm sure from your today's talk on the topic fellowship opportunities for women scientists in India is going to benefit immensely. So over to you, Dr. Pooja.
Thank you, Dr. Shalini, for giving such nice introduction. I could say you yourself is full of energy, full of inspiration and motivation to others. No, so we don't require none other than you. Even I got motivated after reading your story. So thank you so much for invitation. So to start with, without wasting time, I first would like to share my screen. Is it visible, Shalini? Shalini,
it's visible.
Yes, it is very much visible.
But it's very clear.
Thank you, Pooja.
Okay, so today I thought to choose a topic because related to fellowship opportunities for women scientists in India. See, we want women representation in field of STEM. So one of major thing which is lacking is the awareness about the opportunities which are available, awareness about the challenges also which they face once they enter into the professional career. So awareness is a very important thing. So to look into this aspect, I decided to come up with the information and certain things which are required, which women researchers or aspiring women scientists or women who are willing to come into the STEM field, what are the opportunities available for them to explore and grow in this particular field. So the outline, what I'll be discussing about certain, the statistic which Shalini already told about what representation of women in STEM field. The problem, very famous tagline is leaky pipeline. So some of viewers who doesn't know about this leaky pipeline concept, I would discuss something about it. What is the role of role models in STEM field to attract more females, for more girls in the field of STEM? And what are the opportunities for this girl student in school level and in graduation, post-graduation level? A little bit I'll be also covering on international opportunities. So besides that, these are the specific opportunities which I'll be discussing, which are there for the girls. Besides that, there are a whole lot of opportunities which are available for like anyone. So one can explore all those opportunities also. So going by the first thing, you know, like in India, whenever we have a result of, I'm talking mainly in Indian context, when we have a result of 10th exam or 12th board exam, the newspaper, they are flooded with the news that girls outshines boys. So we know that girls are performing well at that stage. But what happens if we see in terms of the representation, for past 25 years, only 25 to 30% PhD students are female. So even at the research level, BSc level, MSc level, doctorate level, there is a good representation of the girls in the field of science. But the problem lies is the translation of this manpower, skilled manpower, to professional career. So that is the major challenge, is how we can convert this skilled manpower into professional women, so that we can have their viewpoint, we can have their ideas, inputs for the benefit of the society in a holistic way. And if you see in terms of technical institution, even Professor Ashutosh Sharma highlighted this, we have only 10% representation by the girl student, girl child. So you see the participation in the engineering institution of the girls is very low. So according to another report by National Task Force or Women in Science, women constitute only 15% of Indian R&D workforce. And this globally, this average is around 30%. If you talk about the prestigious platform like Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Prize, which is one of the prestigious platform in India, out of 500 participants, only 16 have been women. So, and the proportion of the women starting from the school where they enroll, where their enrollment is around 47%, it goes below to 8% in technical field and 15% in research. So we call this as a leaky pipeline. Why leaky pipeline? Because we're starting with very good number, very good enrollment of the girls in the school stage, and we see their good performance in terms of the exams outcome or otherwise. But when we go to the low UG technical institution level or the research level, their representation is only 8% and 15%. So in between these are leakage, which are known as leaky pipelines. That's why it is known as leaky pipeline. So what are those leakages? These could be some societal, social issues, some family issues, or some other kind of issues. So if we broadly classify them, there are 4 major things. One of them is a double burden syndrome. Like for a female in India, the first image comes as a very good mother, a very good wife. So that is the responsibility she has to take care. So some of the girls or female, they are not comfortable handling the burden of a professional life as well as a family life. So that is there. Though the scenario has changed a lot from previous time, but still this remains a responsibility for a female faculty or female professional to look after the family as well as a professional career. Then the stereotypes that science is meant for the man. So it is not only for specifically science. There are certain fields we say these are meant for men, not for the girl, female, or for the girls. Like if we talk about mechanical engineering or civil engineering, we have very less representation of the girls into those fields. So there are certain stereotypes associated with it. There are, I see there are a lot of question comes on the work-life balance, how girls could balance the work and life parallelly so that none of them get sacrificed on other. There are certain issues related with the work culture, but it is not in most of the organizations. Certain organizations where the environment is not very positive or not very encouraging for the girls. So because of these major reasons, the drop from 47% to 15%, we see there is a major drop from enrollment to the translation of the skilled manpower into the professional women. So what are the interventions which are done by the government of India? So intervention are required at different stages. So I'll be discussing about all these interventions which have been done, and you can take benefit of this intervention at according to the stage where you are, whether you are at school level or BSc, MSc or PhD or after that. So one of very major intervention which is done by Indian government or by Department of Science and Technology is Vigyan Jyoti scheme. So Vigyan Jyoti scheme, the purpose of this scheme, what is important in STEM field is to have role models. The role models which can guide you what are the challenges going to come in this field, how you can tackle those challenges, how if you have a role model, you can follow, you can see, listen to her journey, you can discuss your problem with that your role model. And another important thing which is done in this Vigyan Jyoti program is that the selected girls in from 9th, 10th and 11th class, they are given training, technical training, as well as there are motivational interaction with the role models. They are given an opportunity to visit different science institute of the country so that they get a real exposure of this field. I myself is also associated with the Vigyan Jyoti program in Chandigarh, and I see a the group which is very active, and very active discussion happens in that group, and they are given a whole lot of training, as well as the students, they also get a fellowship in this program. The students, the girl student, bright student who gets selected, they get fellowship. And not only that, if the student who are selected in this Vigyan Jyoti program, if they get selected into some underrepresented field or underrepresented institute, the Department of Science and Technology looks after the whole fee of that student, as well as after the completion of that program, say graduation, if they want to join some academic institution or some professional institution, their salary is also paid for 5 years. So there's a whole lot of hand holding from school to initial early career, so that they remain in that professional career. So this is very good intervention which initiated just few years back by DST. So the students who are near to the central institute where this scheme is being implemented, they can reach to those centers and get information about this particular scheme of Vigyan Jyoti. And like I told, the role models has a role to play to motivate girls to come into the field of STEM. As we all know about Professor Marie Curie, which is an internationally renowned scientist, known for, she got 2 Nobel Prizes, one in field of physics and one in field of chemistry. But if I talk specifically in Indian context, how many of you we can count on finger the role models, the scientists that name comes in our mind just on fingertips? So there is one lack of celebrating our, you can say, stalwarts who have done a marvelous job in this field by handling all social as well as professional challenges. So there is a need to bring, to celebrate those stalwarts, to inform about those stalwarts in the school level itself, in the textbook itself, so that we can get the students, our girl child, they get inspired from. So some of the stalwarts, like, I'm not sure how many of you are aware of her. So she is a youngest Shanti Sarup Bhatnagar awardee, and she recently received this award, which is a very prestigious award in India. She is Dr. Neena Gupta, and she got her award for her marvelous work in the field of mathematics. Likewise, in India, we have several other stalwarts which have international recognition, and what is required is how we can bring this stalwart to our girls in the field of STEM, so that they get motivated from them, like Professor Gagandeep Kang, Professor Renu Saru, Professor Chandrima Saha. Yesterday also you heard from Professor Chandrima Saha. So they are certain person to look for, to how to follow how they have followed their journey, how they faced, overcome different challenges in the field of STEM. So that is what is required. For that purpose, one of the program of the government of India is known as a Jigyasa program. So this is a program of CSIR under Scientific Social Responsibility. This program is not specifically for girls, but girls can get benefited from this program. The reason being, there are 38 laboratories spread all over India, and these program give an opportunity to the aspiring students, aspiring girls, to interact with the scientists directly, to work in the laboratory environment, to understand science very closely. So if you are having some lab which nearby to your location, within your city or in district, you can approach to these labs and get connected with the platform, so that you can get to know about the field of science and the opportunities associated with it. So this is at school level, but because at school level, what we need is a motivation, direction, we need guidance and awareness. So at school level, the girl students, they can get benefited from these both programs, that is Vigyan Jyoti and CSIR Jigyasa program. Now I will tell about certain opportunities which are available for female researchers in India specifically. There are several programs and scheme by DST, DBT, and other funding agency. So I will explain all these, tell about all these programs one by one, and I can take questions if you have any doubt in related to that. So DST has a dedicated department, a dedicated division, which is known as Kiran. So Kiran, it looks for the different, Kiran is known as knowledge involvement in research advancement through nurturing. It is specifically looking for the challenges associated with the female scientists, and have come up with various programs in terms of their capacity building, training, if they are having issues with the mobility, like due to relocation, their husband or has to move and they are facing issues due to relocation. They have women scientist scheme. I will discuss all this scheme. And also they are working towards strengthening the infrastructure of women universities so that the women get benefited. And also they have a plan and schemes regarding the entrepreneurship to bring more women entrepreneur into the this particular field. So first program which is done under under Kiran is Women Scientist Scheme. This is under further categorized in 3 schemes: WAS A, WAS B, and WAS C. So first of all, this scheme is mainly for those female student or female researchers who had a career break due to any particular reason, due to family reason, due to relocation or any other reason, and they want to come back into the mainstream and work in the R&D field area. So these are different platforms available for them. In WAS A field, one get the opportunity to do research in basic and applied sciences, while in the WAS B scheme, the female who wants to come up with the SNT intervention for societal benefit, mainly for the benefit of the poor people, for the farmers, or for the women itself, they can come under this WAS B scheme. WAS C is a totally independent scheme. This scheme provides training in the field of IPR, intellectual property right. So with this training, one can enter into this field of patent analysis and also can come up their own independent firm. So if you see in terms of eligibility, the major criteria for this scheme, the reason behind introducing this scheme is to bring back those workforce which left STEM due to family reason or some other reason. So this is an opportunity for them to enter back into the R&D field by taking benefit of any of these 3 schemes. So in terms of age criteria for WAS and WAS B, the minimum age is 27 years, while maximum age is 57 years. If you want more detail about all this scheme, you can go through DST website, where you have given all the information about the basic qualification, like MSc student or BTech or PhD student. If you had a career break after undergraduation, post-graduation, or doctorate, you can come back into the mainstream by taking benefit of all 3 different schemes by DST. So there is one very good scheme by Department of Science and Technology is known as the Curie scheme. So Curie scheme, it helps women university to establish R&D infrastructure so as to develop the human resource, women specifically, as well as to give an environment which is of international level. So in this particular scheme, they have provide infrastructure to various women universities, some of them listed here. And as a new initiative, the institute, the universities which got benefited of Curie scheme, so they are allowing the networking opportunities with the Curie beneficiary. It means one can take benefit of the facility established in one institute. So complete networking opportunities there. And now this scheme is also being extended for the women postgraduate college. So this is very dedicated scheme to uplift the women universities. So as a result, as an outcome, as a first phase of this scheme, they have found that there is an enhancement in the enrollment of the students, and the students, because there is infrastructure enhancement, they got the opportunity to really realize, to have exposure in the field, in this particular field, and the output is seen in terms of qualifying very competitive national exam in Indian context. The another scheme is that is again from DST, is a mobility scheme. So this scheme is to address the relocation issue. In case if a woman is in a regular position and his husband he got moved to another place, so due to relocation, if one researcher is facing some professional challenges, professional and family balance, so this scheme is introduced for employed as well as non-employed women. So this scheme aims to provide an opportunity to women scientists who are facing difficulty due to relocation. As what is given in this scheme, this schemes give an opportunity to relocate to a new place, a new institute for a period of 5 years. So in that, one gets also a contractual research award. It means they also get a research funding so that they can work in that new institute independently for a term of 5 years. And during that time, they can also explore other alternative job option. So who is eligible? Only both employed, regular as well as unemployed female researcher, female students, they are eligible to apply for this mobility scheme. And there are certain age criteria and distance criteria for one to apply for this particular scheme. Now coming to the international opportunities, because international exposure is also very much important. By international exposure, your mind gets broadened and you learn to know how to new things and your vision increases. So in that particular part, there is a program by Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, where the opportunity is given for the female scientists, engineers and technology to work to undertake international collaborative research in different institutes of the United States. So this scheme, there are two categories, and in this scheme, one is internship and another is fellowship. So in internship is mainly for those students who are pursuing PhD and are of age below 32. Fellowship is a opportunity for employed or regular employed woman or researcher, and the age criteria for this program is below 40. One of my colleagues from my organization has availed this fellowship, this opportunity. This is a very good opportunity because this gives you more exposure in your field, and this is specifically targeting women in STEM field. So your competition to other gender is not there. You have to compete amongst women and get selected into this particular opportunity. So if you are eligible for this platform, go for it. It's only 2 calls have come in this particular section, and this is a very well appreciated program by Indo-US Science and Technology Forum. Besides DST, Department of Biotechnology has also very excellent schemes and opportunities for the women researchers, with specific focus on enhancing the participation of women scientists in domain of biotechnology research, in that specifically include life sciences, agriculture, veterinary sciences, and medicine. So there are different, if you are a life science student and working in these different fields, this is a very good opportunity, which is known as a BioCare, that is Biotechnology Career Advancement and Reorientation Program for Women Scientists. In this, there are 2 schemes are there. First is known as Research Grant Opportunity. So a research grant opportunity, it is a platform where even the employed and unemployed woman can get research funding as a first assignment after taking some particular job, or even if you are not employed, then also you can go for it. This is known as RGO, Research Grant Opportunity. One can get a research project of period 3 year to 5 year, and if you are unemployed, you get a very good amount of salary, like 50,000 to 60,000. But if you are employed and you are going for this BioCare Research Grant Opportunity, you get additional incentive besides your salary. And the best part is you get a very good research grant of up to rupees 50 lakhs. So you can avail this opportunity once in your career. There is an age limit associated with it. So if you are working in the field of biotechnology and allied field, you can go for this research opportunity. The second research scheme, which is known as a Career Reorientation Fellowship, or known as CRF. So many a times what happens, we want, you may not like a particular area and you want to switch to another area. So to switch to another area, you need certain skills, specialized skills. So under this career reorientation fellowship, so DBT gives skill training which are essential to enter into new field. The different fields where they give training includes IP management, which is again related with the patent analysis, bioinformatics, biopolicy research, and translation research. So this is kind of a training which is a period for which is for a period of 1 year. So one can avail, one can upgrade their skills, and one or maybe switch to another totally new domain. And so it mainly covers training, field demonstration, and extension activities, which is really required to if you want to go forward in a new field, or if you want to upgrade your skills. So this is a very good platform by DBT. There is one program by L'Oreal India. This is specifically for India. So this program, if you want to pursue, any student want to pursue career in science, so L'Oreal India, they provide a fellowship, very good amount of fellowship to promising but economically disadvantaged young women. And it also covers the college fee as well as any study you want to carry out in the field of science in any college or university in India. There is a very good program by Adobe in the field of computer science specifically. So if you are a computer science undergraduate or a postgraduate, this is a very excellent international opportunity. So in this opportunity, one could get exposure to international work experience in this field, and they get a mentor from Adobe Research, and this is an opportunity, or you can say it is an also internship opportunity. So if you are from this field, you should explore and you should go for this platform. Now coming to the awards, since you said the women, to keep women in science, there has to be certain incentivization or encouragement. So to take this thing into mind, to keep the woman in the STEM field, there are certain very prestigious award constituted by Indian government. So I will tell a few of them. One of them is Serve Women Excellence Award. I myself, I have received this award this year. This is a very good in terms of that you not only get this award, but you also get a research grant of for 3 years, that is 5 lakh per annum, and you can pursue your research interest. The best part of this research award is that there is no foundation that how you want to utilize this award money. So according to your need, according to your research project requirement, you can customize it so that you have full freedom to utilize this money for any area, research area where you want to explore, maybe even if it is a new research area where you want to explore. So this is a very good opportunity by SERB. So main criteria for this particular award is that one has to be a member of any of the National Academy of the country, or the recipient of the associateship from Indian Academy of Science. Likewise, for the women who are working in the field of biosciences, there is a National Women Bioscientist Award. So this award also gives you some grant money, some award money, as well as a recognition. So this is again in 2 categories. One is senior category and one in young category. So you can go into the guidelines of these awards in detail, but this recognizes the efforts made by the women scientists specifically in the area of biotechnology, and has shown the translation of it either like the app in form of some application, some product development, or the technology development. So you are recognized nationally by this National Women Bioscientist Award. After MSc or after PhD, if you may feel like that you want to have more research exposure, if you want to have more research experience, so postdoc is a very good platform. So there are different opportunities available at DST, SERB, and UGC level. So I'll just quickly go through them. If you want any detail, you can scroll to their website, or you can write to me. So this is a program by UGC where they give an opportunity of postdocs specifically for the women who are unemployed and holding PhD degree in their respective subject area. They can go for it and excel into their particular field and get more exposure in this their research area by availing this postdoc opportunity. The duration of this postdoc is of 5 years, and they have 100 such position available per year. Likewise, there is a SERB NPDF, which is specifically not for girls. So those were the opportunities which I discussed earlier were mainly for the female scientists or female researchers. But there are other platforms which you can explore, mainly if you want to go for PDF. NPDF is a very good platform you can explore. And if we tell about certain very good role models in our country who have done really good, so Tamil Nadu has done really very good in terms of different policies and programs related with the women scientists. They have very specific gender cell who look into the entrepreneur development and training of the female researchers, so that and also the upliftment of the women, and to motivate the women who have done excellent in their field. They have lifetime achievement award, and to encourage young women, they have young women scientist award. So this is a very successful model, and they could enhance the participation of the female researchers in this field, because they are starting from the skill training to the awareness to entrepreneurship, and also in terms of you see in entrepreneurship, there are programs which specifically motivate girls scientists to go for the entrepreneurship, and the focus is towards entrepreneurship and self-employment, so that the girl scientists or female scientists, they become job generator rather than job seekers. So under this, there are 3 specific schemes which are there by Indian government, that is Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Park, Technology Business Incubator, Innovation and Entrepreneurship Development Cell. So these parks or incubators, they help women to come up with their idea, to mature their idea. All kind of mentorship is provided in this incubator, so that they become job generator rather than job seekers. So you can see there are different domains which this women technology park cover, whether it is agriculture or health or sanitation or textile, energy, aquaculture, you name. So most of the domains these women technology parks cover, and they are windows to access information, training for appropriate technologies which can lead to skill, as well as the socially relevant product. So this is a very good opportunity. Specifically, if you are working in the field of biotechnology, there are Asia's first Golden Jubilee Biotech Park, which is there in Tamil Nadu, which provide infrastructure as well as training in the 4 major fields of biotechnology, that is agriculture, food, medical, and environment, where you can set up your idea, you can take your idea from concept to the product level, you can commercialize it and come up as an entrepreneur. So this is a very good opportunity for those female researchers who are not interested in academia and want to come in in the field of entrepreneurship and become entrepreneur. So besides that, there are some other schemes which I'm not going through, but they are for everyone. So you can also explore these opportunities. One of them is Teacher Associateship for Research Excellence, which is also known as a TARE scheme. Like if you are a teacher in any college or in a government institution and want to enter in the field of research, so these give you an opportunity to take a flavor of research with the help of host or mentor institute. There is a award by research grant, or you can say from SERB, that is Early Career Research Award. So you can, this is given in the first 3 years of your regular assignment in any institute, you can explore for this Early Career Research Award. There is an international fellowship, postdoc fellowship from SERB, that is known as Overseas Postdoc Fellowship. Then Inspire Fellowship, which is also a very prestigious and highly competitive fellowship. So after PhD, even after MSc, I'm not very sure. Even during undergraduation also this fellowship is given, so it could cover your BSc, MSc as well as PhD. Even after PhD you can join as a faculty by availing this Inspire fellowship. Then there's likewise Inspire, there is a program from SARB, again is a Ramanujam fellowship. And for school students, for undergraduate students, there is a very good scheme which is known as Kishore Vigyanik Prosan Yojana, KVPVI. So you should explore this program in undergrad as well as grad level, because that way you get a flavor of research in early time of your professional life. So these are different schemes from different, KVPVI has different schemes in different fields. So you can enter into this KVPVI program even at school level or undergrad and grad level. Then there are other international fellowship. I'm not going through them. You can look into if you want any information. I'll be happy to provide. Besides that, one of the major challenges is the underrepresentation of the women scientists or researchers in different academies of science. So you could explore and to become part of this academy. One of the academy which me and Shalini is associated with, Indian National Young Academy of Science, which is a very good platform to raise your concern related to young scientists. And it is also a platform which is actively involved in promoting science in schools and colleges. So you can take benefit of this platform. The plus beauty of this platform is there are 50% participation of women, around 50% participation of women in this in INIAS. So for this year there is call open to apply for INIAS. So the aspiring researchers who are willing to be part of young boys, they can apply for this INIAS membership. At the end, I would like to give some take-home message in science. Even though, see, we ask for the opportunity, we ask for the fellowship. It is not only if you have the opportunities and fellowship, then only you can do something. For science to make a successful career in science, it is important that you should have passion. You should be ready to do a lot of hard work, and perseverance is very much important. So Shalini is a very good example in front of us. She from the slum, she has come to the field of science and a very successful researcher. So if you really want to enter in the field of STEM, you should be ready with all this thing. And yeah, once you enter in the field of science, one thing is even Professor Ashutosh suggested is to stay away from the people who demoralize you or negative people until unless you have a solution to that negativity. So don't waste your energy and focus more into the how you can contribute in field of science and field of STEM for the society. The last thing is we require role models. If we have once we into the field, we should be able to guide to other females so that they become, they learn from our lesson, they learn from our challenges. So more women are required in the field, in the leadership role. So once you enter in this field, you should try to at least motivate few your female students or colleagues so that they excel, they enter into this field and excel in this particular field. Some other simple learnings I would say yes to the opportunity. So you have to be very much confident and you should be ready. Instead of taking the excuses, you should say yes to the challenging opportunities if it is coming in front of you. And definitely a support system is required. So it is there's nothing bad in building a support system, whether it is a support of your friends or it is a support of your family or your colleague. So build a support system around you. And if you serve a certain stage, don't feel shy. If you want some help at particular stage, don't feel shy. You should be confident. If you really require some help, you seek help. Don't step back. And one important thing in field of STEM is that for the female, you should be you should communicate, you should speak up, you should put your views or opinion, your point. You should not be modest and stay back. Rather, you should put your views and your opinion in the field, which is very much important for the science and mainly for the society at large. And also always be open for the learning. So keep learning new things. in this research career. So I will end my presentation by a quote, famous quote by Professor Marie Curie, that be less curious about people and be more curious about ideas. So that way you can survive in the STEM field. These opportunities, these platform, which I told, they are certain somewhere to help you at certain stage. Maybe it is a school level or maybe at college level, but your attitude towards yourself, towards your field, towards your science, your knowledge is the one which is make you going to survive in this STEM field. Thank you.
Wow, Pooja.
Yeah, Shalini.
Stop sharing.
I can, yes.
Wow, wow, wow. A big applause to you. I'm so impressed with the entire coverage of various fellowships, and I feel like I should go back, run and grab all those opportunities. So without wasting time, I just take questions. There are multiple questions and people are watching our program from Niger, Tanzania, Nigeria, Peru, and there are a lot of OWSD members from different countries. So I thank you everyone, and let's take the questions. So the first question is from Tanzania, Dr. Pendo. She is asking, glad to be here, and I'm just wondering if there are any fellowships or opportunities for international women scientists to apply in India.
Yeah, there is one program which I could recall is the TWAS fellowship. So that is a CSIR TWAS program. So you can apply for that particular program if you want to work in any research institute in India.
Yeah, so there is another question from Dr. Aparna Gunjal from Pune, and she's asking, do you need to be a member of INSA or NAS for SERB Excellence Award? You spoke about SERB Excellence Award.
Yeah, for the SERB Excellence Award, you either have to be a member or not exactly member. You either have to be a recipient of Associateship of Indian Academy of Science, or you should be recipient of different medals by different academy like INSA, NASI, and Indian Academy of Science. And yeah, if you're a member, that's a even greater, you can say, award other than the INSA, these medals. So if you're a fellow of these academy, you definitely could.
Yeah, thank you, Pooja. There is another question from Shilpa Shotriya, and she's asking, many of the grants or funds have an age limit below 40, and majority of women start their actual career after 35 and above. So are there any research grants for women who have already crossed their age limit?
No, I already told about such schemes, like POST scheme is there. The maximum age limit is around 53. Likewise, BioCare scheme is again age limit is 50. So kindly go through what I just discussed few minutes back. So you will get to know there are several opportunities available to come back into the mainstream.
Wow, fantastic. Dr. Gauri Palsokar is asking if there are any postdoctoral fellowship, especially for working women.
Yeah, so for postdoc, they are postdoc from the UGC, and then there is a SERB and PDF and Kothari fellowship, which are not specifically for the women, but anyone can apply for working woman. Or what is the question for the working woman? It means already she is working.
It's okay. Working women.
Okay, I think for research, you have to be full-time researcher. It's not a kind of a degree that you can do it part-time. So if you want to enter into research, definitely you have to switch from one to another field. Yeah, most programs are there where you can enter into the field of research. But yeah, it's not a part-time thing that you can do postdoc parallelly with your work.
Yes, thank you so much, Pooja. And I would, there are questions, but then because we are running out of the time, and I hope you will not mind that if our audiences contact you on your website, your institute's website, your email is given, and they can directly contact you and address their questions.
You can share my mail ID and they can write directly to me. I'll be happy to help as much I can.
Wow, thank you so much. A big applause once again. Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for accepting our invitation, and I'm sure from your talk today's participants are going to run and they are going to grab all the opportunities as much as possible. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yeah,
And
awareness is important thing. Even I was not aware when I was doing my undergrad or in my schooling time, these different opportunities are available. So awareness is very much important. So now you get to know through this program organized by Shalini. So take benefit of it. Thank you again.
I feel so proud that India has so many opportunities for women scientists. And thank you so much, Pooja, for sharing all these things. So thank you. And I'm also thankful to all the audiences for their active participation. Keep asking your questions. Keep asking the right questions to our speakers. Thank you. Thank you. And we move ahead. So friends, OWSD. OWSD is the international organization